We love both storytelling and listening to stories, especially film stories. Humanity is currently looking at images for more than 20 billion hours, and we believe this will exceed 40 billion hours in the next 10 years. The global film industry was generating $90 billion in 2020. It is expected that this figure will rise to $1.5 trillion by 2030. This means we will listen to more stories and watch more films. This is an indispensable action for us. Our hunger for content will increase even more, and the industry's need for content will also grow. Because we love films, moving images, and the stories told through them, we shouldn't just make one film. We need to make many films, as films live on for a lifetime, are produced together, and are watched together. While discussing digitalization, Omer suddenly threw out the idea of why we don't democratize films using blockchain.
Nature has set a magnificent rule. Films can be measured and distributed mathematically. We realize that films are an ideal game for the blockchain economy.
Blockchain, token, NFT, qualified intellectual property title, smart contract. I must admit these were not topics I was familiar with. I know how to make films, and I also know how to make a good film.
If you play 25 frames of a photo in 1 second, it becomes a film. We started to think about the dynamics of filmmaking, along with digital economy, sharing economy, and blockchain technologies, and then Blunt joined us.
I have been in the film and television industry for 25 years. I can hardly remember times when I felt excited in this industry, where I have been involved in many areas, including production. The process of bringing a film to the screen is a long and complex journey. At this point, Virdum has become the project that excites me the most throughout my career.
Together, when we say all of us, our actors, crew members, lighting technicians, drivers, and all production teams never say, "I worked on this film." They say, "I made a film last week."
The audience what creates the content, films, and series.
I have been repeating this for years. Be digital, be sharing, and be green. The film industry is the most suitable development area for the digital economy and sharing economy. Why shouldn't we be a part of films?
You produce a film once, revenues come from the cinema halls, revenues come from platforms. You can generate revenues from open channels, other platforms, and YouTube. You can sell to different countries around the world. You sell a single production output repeatedly, and these sales are periodic. In other words, you sell it in parts over time, in specific time intervals.
In principle, no film fails. Don't look at me. I made a film, and it failed. But the film itself did not fail. Hacivat Karagöz had an audience of 800,000. However, today more than 20 million people have watched the film. The people and institutions to whom I sold the film made extraordinary profits. Because if it doesn't come from box office, it comes from television. If it doesn't come from there, it comes from digital platforms. And unfortunately, by watching on mobile phones. Eventually, as we listened to the film production processes of Omer, me, and Ezel, a sentence came to us.
Filmmaking should be democratized. Film frames will be transformed into digital assets. You will own digital assets proportional to your contributions, and you will have a share in the generated revenues. This is where a big spark went off in our minds.
According to Bülent and Ezel, if we put 10 films or series into a portfolio instead of a single film, in filmmaking, it becomes more solid, and the feelings decrease. I also came to hold this view while speaking.
Omer suggested inviting Ahmet Usta, one of the authorities on blockchain in Turkey, to Virdum for brainstorming.
Ahmet said, "We are going to make a film, but we want to transfer the film we shoot onto blockchain networks." How so? A film is approximately 90 minutes long. When you multiply that by 60, each second has an average of 24 to 25 frames. And when you do the math, it results in about 135,000 frames. He said, "We want to convert each frame into a digital token and transfer it onto blockchain networks." I have been explaining blockchain technology for many years. Generally, such innovative concepts are quickly embraced first by the tech world, and then by the business world. They are treated like a holy grail. Therefore, there has been a lot of discussion about blockchain over the past 15 years. However, it has not yet demonstrated its true business value. What we have discussed and explained so far, this was a bit of a trailer for this work, a bit of a preview. It will gradually start to find its true value. These are not the early days, when the Holy Grail was mentioned. The real value will be revealed with the transformation change and emergence of applications over time. It is not easy to predict this in advance, but once that value emerges, we will look back and say, how could we not have thought of this as simple as 2 + 2 = 4? This is where we need to emphasize the word realistic, because blockchain technology shows its true potential by tokenizing real-world assets.
When we first spoke with Amit, our project did not have a name. I sent a message to Ezel on WhatsApp. Ezel had developed over 20 projects with various creatives, directors, screenwriters, and story writers creating a portfolio. I told Ezel this. Did you give us these films? He, as always, said, I gave them. I gave them. I replied, if you gave them, then I took them.
Omer said, well, congratulations on Virdum.com. We said, really? Is the .com domain available? Virdum is such an interesting name that no one else is using it on the internet besides us. That's why it became Virdum.
We invited Amit to the team. Amit came with a sack full of questions. Because we had created a package consisting of 20 films and series, what will happen to the law, security, technology, revenue, and ownership of this package, which consists of more than 10 million frames?
Of course, what needed to be resolved and answered in the early stages was that this approach should be structured not with conventional crypto, asset-related structures or formulas, but on a correct foundation in legal, regulatory, financial, and ethical terms.
We produced the concept and model of TMP or the TMP. TMP is the abbreviation for Tokenized Motion Picture. In fact, this is a new path. It consists of IPFS, ERC721, ERC155, ERC20, and source web data. For example, he established an evidence-based system consisting of invoices from WorldCube, taxi receipts, expenses, revenues, and bank accounts.
This is very exciting. Think about the early periods of history. There are some pictures drawn by early humans inside caves. The spiritual and historical value of those pictures cannot be measured today. However, there is an ecosystem in the film industry where only investors, distributors, and participants with certain criteria have a say. Virdum reduces this ecosystem to individuals, democratizing platforms and approaches, and making these participants as absolute owners of films a part of the game. This is not just for the project itself. A powerful idea that has the potential to create change and transformation for the entire industry.
Even a single frame of TMP is a work of art. TMP owners should have operable and rentable works.
The business has grown. There should be 100% transparency in the profit-sharing process during the production of films or series. There should be ethical rules. It should be in accordance with the law. Other experiences have been included in our process. I'll pay.
And I'll pike. Change starts with a whisper. And when it's a tsunami, everyone hears it. When Virdum brand first explained, I said that tokenization is not that difficult, but establishing a transparent, fair, real-time system is more important. Tokenization can be done very easily today. Later, I met Omer and saw that he has a systemic approach based on transparency and justice flowing in his veins. On top of that, when I saw that Virdum's technology backbone would be the web-based WorkCube, I said, I'm in this business too. Today, funding can be raised in this way, including Hollywood. From time to time, we see that small budget projects are being made using the crowdfunding method. But the question is, where is this money being spent? Where does it come from? What is everyone's role? How much is their share? Therefore, this creates a sensitivity for many people. Now we tell people, be a part of a film, monitor the ownership, income, and the entire process, costs, and revenues in real time.
What is heartfelt comes from glass. My duty is to establish a system that will track all the money coming to Virdum up to 16 digits after the decimal. This will also share the 7.24 real time with all the property owners who own a single frame of the film, that is, the TMP owners, the stakeholders. Moreover, to do this with real data through blockchain, this is the job I know best. I have been writing ERP, CRM project management, in short, enterprise software for 25 years, and I am establishing these platforms. I have implemented them in thousands of companies.
A thought crossed my mind. In the film's credits, the names of hundreds of employees and workers are written. So, is it necessary for them to be a part of the film? Can they be part of such a large budget films or series without putting in any money or Effort? I asked if they would receive a share of the film's revenues. Of course, I asked with a wink. We will definitely provide an income opportunity from the film to everyone who has worked on it.
Yes, for a sustainable world, for a progressive and developing world, we must both call for and share. I am closer to cooperation and cooperativism. We should also provide lifelong income shares to the film workers from the film.
The Virdum platform is not just made up of a single project or a single film. So far, there are more than 20 productions that have been developed, scripted, and worked on in terms of financial and project processes. The Virdum platform promises to share 60% of the revenues of all these productions, for which it has tokenized absolute ownership rights, with those included in this system for 20 years. And blockchain is the only platform for monitoring and auditing the fulfillment of this promise. But it is not limited to just that. The owners of these film frames need to be very well informed about how those films are made, how their financial budgets are progressing, and what stage the project is at. How will this happen? That's where the World Cup comes into play. Through the Virdum portal of World Cup, film frame owners can enter their digital ownership and see what stage their projects are at, as well as their financial flows and processes. I repeat, this is a revolutionary thing.
As a performance reward, we developed keys to distribute a certain percentage of Virdum TMP tokens to the team, but we needed someone to explain this new world to the industry. We included Shure in our team.
I believe that virtual will create a significant change in an industry where creativity is the sole capital. And I think this change will not be limited to just the series and film sector. In various meetings we have held so far, our creators on the producer side have stated that they want to receive part or all of their payments for the projects they will carry out with us in virtual TMPs.
To make a good film, very talented people are needed. With Shulis joining Virdum, we have started to understand the sharing economy, blockchain economy, and change much better.
If we are producing films together, we must embrace the sharing economy. We have shaped the Virdum philosophy exactly in this way.
20 years ago, almost very few people had an email. 10 to 15 years ago, only a certain number of people had social media accounts. Today, almost everyone has an email and a social media account. Very few people have a Web3 wallet today. We will see that in the coming days. Everyone will have a Web3 wallet. The most exciting aspect of Virdum is exactly this. While Virdum is opening the doors to a revolution in the industry with this project, it can also inspire other industries. There will be an innovative formation brought by both technology and the approach here. In fact, this will create a new trend. The ability to somehow replicate real-world assets with blockchain technology will change a very important perspective and approach. Virdum is starting this with film projects.
In Virdum, we will realize 20 film and series projects within 5 years. We will shoot films, produce series, and create games from the series. We will bring stories to life again and watch the stories together.
Yes, we will digitize the films.
The Tokenized Motion Pictures technology will be 3% transparent to all property owners who hold Virdum tokens.
Digitalization is changing business models and industries. We came together with Virdum to not fall behind this change.
We are progressing, inspired by the decentralized democratic understanding of blockchain technology.
Whether it's a frame or 100,000 frames, we invite you all to be a part of a film.